the whole offensive line, and it is unacceptable to have the University of Nebraska lead the nation in sacks allowed. That Dylan Raiola is the most sacked quarterback in Power 4. That should never, ever happen. Now, the worst loss in Rhule's tenure at Nebraska is UCLA until Friday night. After UCLA, that was a reminder. And I say, you know what? Thank you, Minnesota. Minnesota reminded Nebraska that I use the whole tight wire.
Yeah.
You know what? Sometimes somebody reaches up and cuts it and you fall into the canyon. And then when you're at the bottom of the canyon, do you climb back out? So thank you, Minnesota, for what you did on Friday night. And I'm going to stick with this, and I'm not being sarcastic, because thank you, UCLA. I use that as UCLA is something that really good happened in Rhule's tenure, because it made Rhule stop and assess his program on the fly in the middle of the season. Instead of the offseason, we got more downtime. We got to make a couple of changes. We got to take care of some things before they get worse. And then we'll correct some things at the end of the year, which he did both of them. Okay. Minnesota beats you. And they just reminded you of some issues that you still have. What is your response to a loss like that? Not overreacting, but a response to make sure it doesn't happen again, or you trend in a better spot of, is it personnel on the field, personnel off the field, philosophy, scheme? Do you in a short week say, you know what, Dana, our wide receivers can't be running these long developing routes when my quarterback has a 3-step drop, and by the time he gets to 2.6 seconds in his drop, he's already being blindsided. We got to roll him out. We got to get him going right. He loves rolling right because he looks more comfortable there. Like, these are discussions that have to happen like in season. But the discussion about the offensive line, and I think as we look at the offensive line, it is quarterback, offensive line, running back, it is wide receivers, it is scheme, it is position, coach. All of these things are together. It's not just one person, okay?
Sure.
I'm not here to assess blame of, okay, this one, that was on you. They gave up 9 sacks, okay? That's blame across the board to the entire operation. But if you're going, well, I probably got to start looking at Donnie, but man, look at his last name. You're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, and your job is to make sure that the company is humming and is getting better, okay? That if you are hamstrung by a family, that says to me everything you need to know. If you are like, I can't make a move because what happens with Dylan?
Yeah.
You know what? Whose program is it? Whose football program at Nebraska is it? And I'm not saying Rhule is doing this, but that's why I hate, you got what if you do something with Donnie, man? What's Dylan going to do? Well, here's what Dylan is going to do. And this is probably going to happen to Dylan. First of all, kid's getting beat up. Okay. And is it stunning his development? Is he seeing ghosts? Is he like, okay, now he's all over the map and we have no idea what you're getting? But Nebraska needs the better version of Dylan Raiola. He can't play a game on a Friday night in Minneapolis, and Drake Lindsay is a better quarterback. Nebraska can't survive that way. But you know what this is happening now, because this is a business.
Sure.
Okay. It's a brand. Hey, Dylan, man, you're just getting beat up. Man, are you going to be able to last to your third year? Whew, I don't know, man. I wonder, you come here. Hey, we got a Joe Moore Award offensive line. We'll protect you. You're getting just crushed. You think, man, what happens if you get injured, Dylan? What happens if you get hit on the blind side and you blow out your knee and you're going to miss the next year and it's going to, you're going to be a year away from the NFL. You know that those conversations are probably already happening or are coming to happening.
Yeah.
But I think whether it be the quarterback who shares the same last name as the offensive line coach with the guy in between that this is his football program, what is your solutions in the meantime? You can't, in the middle of the year, make a trade with another program to get an offensive tackle.
No.
What are your solutions that involve the quarterback being better, the offensive line being better, the scheme being better, the what is being taught being better, or the simple bottom line, what is being communicated? Because it looked like on Friday night, and you and I were texting back and forth, that the offensive line calls, guys were not on the same page.
At all.
Gatula is blocking differently, not knowing that Ramir Johnson is behind him.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, a guy goes floop right by him. Now, there's nothing you can do about Ramir getting blown, or not Ramir. Well, you would love to have Ramir there. But Emmett getting blown up.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you blow up the running back and you're sitting in the lap of the quarterback. But what is the conversation that include all of them to figure out solutions in the meantime? Because this is not just a Minnesota bullied you problem. This has been a problem all year, and everybody has to take onus on it. The quarterback has his issues. The offensive line has their issues.
Yeah.
The scheme has to be different. Where is meshes? Where is slants? Where is Barney? And then also, and I know I just went on a little rant here, but this got me fired up on a different show, is we gotta put handcuffs on the quarterback. Okay? If game manager, fine, whatever. Because for some reason, and this cost Nebraska, I can't do anything about the Hunter drop. That's on Hunter. The deep ball, there is no connection with your wide receivers on the deep ball, and there's no respect from the deep ball. But man, when you have Dane Key open on a fade, okay, and you have him twice that he's open, that would have changed the course of that game. You got to make that play. You're in your 20th game as a starter. You got to make that play.
It's we're getting to the point, Gary, where he's still making mistakes where it was cute when it was his 8th start. It was cute when it was his 10th start. It was, hey, he'll clean it up. Now and also we always, what's the cliche, right? With the freshman, just in any sport, he's not a freshman anymore. Dylan's not a sophomore anymore. You know, he's a guy who's made 20 college starts. He's not that far away from the Bill Parcells rule of how many starts you have to make to be able to be drafted in the NFL. Like, he's got, there are just things that have been a problem since the second he's gotten here that have not gotten better. And that is there. And also too, it just dawned upon me, you bringing up this point, right? About how you have all these issues and you need to find these solutions right now to fix those issues. What irks me the most about the Minnesota game is that they had those same issues against Michigan State.
Yeah.
And then they had solutions to those issues against Maryland. They used the quick game against Maryland. They used crossers against Maryland. They got the ball out quickly against Maryland. They were creative in the run game against Maryland. Why won't those solutions used against Minnesota? Why did you we talked about the Maryland game being an identity game. Hey, your identity might be Emmett Johnson has turned into this really good running back. You can give him the ball more. Your identity might be the quick game with Isaiah Hunter. Your identity might be, hey, we're gonna do all this window dressing with short stuff, and then we're gonna take a shot deep down the field with our quarterback. Where did that go?
I don't know. I think they're so scared of not being able to have consistency on the offensive line that Emmett can't, because Emmett creates a lot of stuff on his own.
He does.
He like kind of wears the Amir cape, that they do not commit to it because they're afraid of, hey, that those 2 bad plays by the offensive line are going to blow it up. Here's another thing that the offense has really run into, and it's not just a Friday night thing, is one sack, and I know a lot of sacks were on 3rd down.
Yeah.
One sack, it just kills Nebraska's drive. It may be a sack on 1st down, but it kills Nebraska's drive. And what does that automatically mean? Nebraska's going to throw the ball then on 2nd down, regardless.
Yes.
Regardless.
Yes.
Even at like 2nd and 12, they're going to throw the ball no matter what.
And it's so predictable. But Gary, a penalty kills their drive. A penalty.
But it shouldn't. It shouldn't, but it does.
They should have enough talent and enough athleticism where they can just pop. A 1st and 15, you're rolling your eyes, being like, oh, this is going to be tough.
Becoming kind of predictable. But there's a lot of questions here.
There's too many questions.
Key and Barney, what's happened there? You know, I know the slot has been taken away a little bit, but those 2 guys, what is it, 10 catches combined in the last 3 games?
Well,
and no utilizing Barney in the run game.
Isn't it funny though how fast life comes at you? Where last year we were like, wow, they're using Barney way too much on these jet sweeps and these touch passes. Like, can we get more creative with him? Now we're sitting here saying, why aren't you using Barney in the sweep game, in the touch pass game? Like, why is that? I don't know why. All we wanted we just wanted you not to use it as much.
Now they may have said our bookends are getting turnstiled, that by the time Barney gets the ball, the tackle is right there to greet him, and it's going to be for, negative yards. The one thing that is, and it was discussed by people that I respect on Twitter, they're going to have to go back to not having developing routes. Now, the middle of the field was open Friday night.
Yeah.
like Lindenmeyer was open a bit. But they love running the hashes with their wide receivers. But those routes are 7 to 10. And again, unless you can get to 10 yards in 3 seconds, but by that 3 seconds, Dillon has already panicked or the pocket has collapsed, and your wide receivers aren't even out of their break yet.
Yeah. Well, also, too, this comes back to the conversation of wanting Dillon to be the gunslinger and him just being unwilling to just fire in that football into a tight window.
All right, Northwestern this week. Let's talk some Dillon here. Oh, good morning. Hello, Captain.
Good morning, brothers. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm not doing too bad. Just day by day as we go as Husker fans.
I got you, brother.
I wanted to call up because I just took some notice things on Dillon, and we can all agree that Dillon wanted to play at a high level in college, and he probably wants to get to the NFL, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And so I noticed just looking back, TJ, he ran track, he won a state title, and he has stats that made him the 5-star or 4-star, whatever he is, that got him to Nebraska. Now, Dillon doesn't have that. All Dillon has is just stats that got him to this level. And from reading, it always was Dillon wanted to play right away. That's why he went somewhere. Not that he wanted to compete for the position. His dad said he wanted to play right away. And so when he gets to Nebraska, after he switches, he comes to Nebraska and he doesn't really have a lot of competition. He gets to play right away. And after last year, those stats are not going to get him to the NFL. This year, he seems a little reluctant, like Matt said, and like Elijah and I said on the other show. He just doesn't seem like he wants to take that chance. Like he's trying to clean up his stats. So that way he can clean it up, because I think Dillon's going to have as many national championships in college in football as I have when it's said and done. So he's only going to have some film and stats to get there. So when you look at the play calling, I think Rule and Dana are kind of taking on what his dad did and putting him in a position so he can get his stats up so he can get to the next level. Mm-hmm. I think that TJ needs to come in just to give this team a break from Dillon Raiola. But Rule's afraid to do that, I think, because if Rule does do that and TJ comes in and he outshines Dillon, then he's got a problem, because now he's 0 for 2 on quarterbacks. And what are you going to do? You're going to not play TJ now and bring back in Dillon? And so I think that's what's going on with this football team. I just want to know what your guys' opinion on that, what you see.
Cap, thanks. And this will get louder because of, not having mobility. Friday night, you had 2 guys that didn't run track. The only 2 guys in the Big Ten that didn't run track in high school.
That's such a good stat.
Raiola and Lindsey. You had the play caller on one team compared to the other team call plays that fit the identity of the quarterback and his strengths.
Dang.
Nebraska called plays that did not fit the strength of their quarterback. That's why I say put the handcuffs on, make him a game manager, and if he fights that, introduce him to the wins and losses or what matter. Yeah. And if Nebraska wins, you're going to get more attention. Do you think, because Cap has been, and he's not alone, about the Latifs and the Tifis, do you think that not changing quarterbacks in the middle of a game is an NFL philosophy? You don't see that in the NFL. I know there is, like, oh boy, what is this going to send? Am I going to have to deal with this?
Sure.
Well, I deal with losing and being 5-3. That's what I wouldn't want to deal with. But do you think it's an NFL thing when there's a scoff of, no, we don't do that here?
Yes, I think it could be. I also think it's just a.
Also, it's not. It doesn't seem like it's a thing in college football.
No, it's not. Yeah. Not really. But I'll say this. So Nebraska. That's a very. I never thought of that, Gary. Because you got to play really, really bad in the NFL to get switched out. Like you have to be absolutely terrible, like throwing 4 interceptions. Yeah. Like being the full reason as to like you are the only reason as to why we are losing this game is why you're not getting pulled out. So maybe that's the case. Maybe that's being carried over. I just think though, if you bring in Latif, you completely change your game plan. Like you completely flip it on top of your head. Like you are calling completely different plays and completely different concepts. And I just don't think that's something you're ready to do in the middle of a game. Like if you're going to have a Latif game, I almost feel like you have to go in there knowing, hey, TJ is going to play. And these are the things that we're going to have to do with him because he just has so much of a different skill set compared to Dylan.
And it would be, if that was a route that you chose, there would be more things to think about as defense. They need to take this out of their playbook. So this counter zone read that they like to run,
I know
there is not a chance in God's green earth that Dylan's keeping that ball.
No.
Okay.
God, no.
So, but they like to run it. And you know that he's not going to run it, that it's always going to be given to the running back.
And so you can cheat on the side, and you don't have to don't have to contain on the left if he's going to pull the. You couldn't be more right. Here's another thing though. Okay, so I was Peterson and I were watching the game, and it's 3rd and 9, and Dylan's running around, and I go, isn't it just like I'm not a Tiffy guy, but when it's 3rd and 9 or it's 3rd and 10 or it's 3rd and 12, there is zero threat that he's going to scramble 10 yards for this first down.
No.
There is not one thought in the brain of the defense or the defensive coordinator that they have to be even concerned or cautious that, hey, if we get too far out of our zones, he's going to be able to take space because you can close that space so much quicker because he's slow, he's really slow. And it's almost as if, I don't want to say he's scared to run it, but he'd much rather throw it. He much rather throw it.
I don't know. I think
he's hesitant.
He is, and
he's hesitant.
Who knows what the reason is? But man, he looks so much better when they roll him out, and he's outside of it. You know, you would think standing in the pocket where you can survey, you'd be like, okay, I can go to my reads and I can see the bigger picture. It almost seems like his game right now is when they roll him out and things get sped up, he sees the field better.
Sure, but another thing too, Gare, is that
which I don't know that you'd want to be known for. You know, but this isn't about Dylan. This is about what gives Nebraska the best chance to win football games on a Saturday with a quarterback that you haven't unlocked everything that he can do, or maybe you have, and that's then a different conversation.
What this boils down to is he cannot maneuver the pocket without pulling his eyes down.
Yeah, there's a lot of like fundamental things.
Yes,
that shouldn't be happening 20 games in. It's I don't know. Do they have a solution with 5 games to go, or is this going to be just hold on? Just hold on.
I think